Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Prof. Dr. Cik Zuriana binti Muhammad Jamil. We are from Group 6 and we would like to present on how Kaizen costing is being used in Toyota Motor Corporations. My name is Nurashita binti Muhammad Yusuf, metric number 264469. So this is the topic outlines for today's presentations. We will start with the introductions, objective, literature review, methodology, findings, limitations, recommendations, and lastly on the conclusions. So I will present on the introduction part and the rest will be continued by my team members. Backgrounds of the topics. Kaizen is defined as a philosophy of continuous improvements. It consists of two types, which are process Kaizens and also flow Kaizens. Process Kaizens are more focused on minor improvement in a small area, while flow Kaizens are concerned with a wider scope of the company's departments as a whole to improve the flows of the materials and also the informations. Kaizen will form umbrella which cover various techniques such as Kanban, just in time, Six Sigma, productivity improvements, affirmations, as well as a suggestion system. A Kaizen philosophy is applied to management accounting in the context of Kaizen costing, which is a cost of continuous improvement or best known as a cost reductions accounts. It takes into considerations of the entire value creation change, which results in the improvements of work efficiency and lower the cost. Kaizen also applies to processes like logistics and supply chain to eliminate the waste by standardizing the activities and evaluating current practices for improvement. The implementation of plan, do, check, and act (PDCA) have proven to be successful when aiding companies to improve their processes and activities. So among the strengths of Kaizen costings are high possibility of continuous cost reductions, lower change costs with a small risk, and take into account of employee involvement. For better effectiveness, a Kaizen costing approach can be combined with a target costing or any other cost management method which suit. Now let's move to the backgrounds of the company. So Toyota Motor Corporation is a manufacturer of automobiles who involve in variety of activities. Toyota used a cost planning method to minimize the production cost, which indirectly leave the room for more profits. During the new product development cost, Toyota used target costing system in order to meet its long-term and annual profits goals. Later, during production stage, Toyota carries out a series of further cost-saving improvements in a Kaizen costing system. Toyota also introduced flat organizations among managers where just-in-time approach has been applied to prevent delays in decisions making. Toyota also applied today's electronic communications technologies called Computer Integrated Manufacturing (CIM), which allows every factory to operate autonomously. However, Toyota recently succumbed to operational malfunctions, which lead to poor sales due to a customer has lost confidence in their products. One of the issues arise is on bureaucracy problems. The first bureaucracy problem is due to the fact that the executive in the United States has been replaced with another executive from Japan who has no experience in the US automobile market. Another bureaucracy problems is failure in implementing effective teamwork where it begins the operations before sufficient team training had been completed. Second issue is on overconfidence when a Toyota decides not to have public relations strategy since consumer feedbacks gave the brand praise, which indirectly promotes its brand. This company believed that those feedback was enough in order to increase their product sales. Due to this overconfident characteristic, Toyota is not prepared for consumer complaints on faulty productions. In addition, Toyota failed to recognize its leading player in the marketplace. The last issue is on the weak management strategy of Toyota. According to the observer and analysts, the president was not ready yet to manage the world-class company and is not independent, since he always seeks for opinion from his family before he make any decisions. Other than that, the management structure of Toyota has poor communications among the departments. So that's all from me. The detailed explanations will be presented in discussions part. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Anissa binti Abdullah, metric number 264898. So I will continue with the objective of our study. For the general objective, we want to explore into how Kaizen costing is being used in the manufacturing company. Meanwhile, the specific objective, we want to see how far Toyota Motor Corporation has applied Kaizen costing. And we also want to analyze the key factors on implementation of Kaizen costing in Toyota. Other than that, we also want to examine the potential methods of resolving the company's current issues by implementing Kaizen costing. Lastly, we also want to recognize the employee's thought about the Kaizen costing system that is being used in Toyota. Next is literature review. First is Kaizen is known as continuous improvement. Continuous improvement means company always seek for changes. For example, they often ask on the industry performance benchmark in order to deliver sense of urgency that the organization is far behind from the competitor in the competition. Usually, Kaizen is effective in an open-minded organization because these types of organization always seek for changes, but it might be less effective in organizations that are difficult to do changes. Next is difference between approach of leadership in traditional and Kaizen. So based on previous study of American Hospital, the key factors of its sustainability of production system is leadership. So in traditional benchmark, leaders lead with power and authority. But in Kaizen, leaders lead by example and humility. So in Kaizen culture, it will enable improvement to the standards because they will do the changes based on the example. Next is overconfidence issue. Overconfidence issue, it can be resolved by doing total quality control through Kaizen activities involving everyone in the company, managers and workers, in totally integrated effort toward improving performance at every level. Meanwhile, for weak management issue, Kaizen is the best tool to overcome the situation. So because Kaizen can help the company's cost through implementation, and Kaizen is suitable because it is easy to implement and also low in cost. Next is bureaucracy issue. In Kaizen, they don't have bureaucracy because it can lead to internal empire building. Next is Toyota style Kaizen practice. Okay, in Toyota style, they teaches managers and employees to understand what are cost and non-cost costs. So, but in most of other organizations, they practice weak derivative forms of Kaizen that have little impact on cost or other important parameters. So this type of Kaizen is weak because knowledge of cost is incomplete without cost awareness. Next is Kaizen practice in Malaysia. In Malaysia, organizations strongly emphasize the involvement of the plant floor employees. So they adopt the PDCA cycle to solve both unit functional and cross-functional problems in their activities. So they will review on all of the achievement and see if action can be taken to standardize the Kaizen activities to similar process within the company. Okay, so these are the challenges and problems to implement Kaizen. According to the study, the resistance to change, especially among mature workers, also one of the problems that arise during the implementation of Kaizen. Second, when there is a confusion on the concept of continuous improvement. Third is when there is the absence of compensation or reward. And other than that, lack of proper training for the employees and long delays in getting the suggestion process, also one of the challenges. The last one is lack of concerted efforts by the executive of the firms, poor implementation activities, lack of resources, and lack of good return on investment for the continuous improvement projects. So lastly is, of course, you want to see the impact of Kaizen management. So after implementing Kaizen, Kaizen will help to improve both management practices and working conditions. And according to the study, they can see that during the crisis, the treatment group companies that applied Kaizen did not cut salaries as much as the contrast group companies that did not apply Kaizen. And of course, administrators and employees have different perspective on the value of Kaizen after the implementation. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Azrin Ida Yuminti Muhammad Anwar, magic number 264265. So I will continue the presentation for methodology part. Okay, here in the slide, we can see there are three methods in order to collect the primary data for this assignment. Okay, the first approach that we adapt to collect the primary data is by case study method. Okay, this method is a deep investigation of a single group, event, or community. Okay, in this method, there are several sources that we can use to collect data and study the company's history, problems in the company, and how they face and solve the problems. Usually, the case study methods also involve the observation and interviews method in this approach because when we study a case from the group or company, we can directly observe it and make a summary, an assumption about what we have read just now. So, through information that we observe, we can make a proper interview session with the main group that we investigate. Okay, for example, our assignment focused on how Kaizen costing is being used in Toyota Motor Corporation. Hence, to investigate more detail about it, our members already studied a few journals that are related to our investigation. Okay, second approach that we apply is observational method, which is through our sense like looking, listening, and others to examine people in a stress setting. So we are responsible to observe all information that are entitled to be most useful for us in order to collect the qualified data. Okay, for example, our members group observed all the information that related our studies for the past case of the company, internet sources, and also surrounding of us. From that, we can know the way the company handled their problem using the Kaizen costing. Okay, last but not least, our group applied the interview method, which is the commonly used method in methodology approach to collect the primary data. The interview method involves two parties asking questions and another party is to answer all the questions, whether through face-to-face or other electronic device such as telephone. Okay, for example, our members use this method through an interview telephone from the Toyota Motor Corporation since we cannot perform it face-to-face because of COVID-19 pandemic in order to get information about our investigation on how the Kaizen costing is being used in the company. Okay, the example of the question will be asked are, could you explain to us how your company solved the past problem using Kaizen costing? Okay, next, could we know whether your company only focused on Kaizen costing or there is any method that your company used in solving this issue, the issue in the company? Okay, other than that, what are the main key factors that lead the company to use a contemporary tools such as Kaizen costing? And a few questions. So more detail is in our written report. So that's all from me. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nurdayana Nisa binti Hafizah 264743 and I will continue with findings. Through our observation, we found that Toyota Motor Corporation applied just-in-time and Kanban methodologies for its production system. Toyota's production system is subsystem of overall management system with supportive function to subsystem of sales, financial management, new product development and personnel. This led to excellent performance on Toyota's management system as a whole. At Toyota, there are 4 basic tools that comprise the Toyota Way and enable Kaizen to occur, which PDCA, Horenso, Five Wise, and Miruka. As we can see, Toyota has consistently responded to changing market conditions, from the development of small, fuel-efficient city cars to the virtual creation of the hybrid car, and this development began long before oil price began to rise to alarming levels. Toyota are able to tackle this matter and begin to develop it earlier because the employees have the ability to speak up through Kaizen. However, just like the other manufacturing companies, Toyota also face problems such as operational malfunctions. Consequently, the consumer has less confidence with Toyota's product, hence reduce the sale. In order to recover from the current crisis, the company shall address the main issues exist within its management structure. Based on our study, current problems that is facing by the company come from the collective company mistake that link to one another, which finally result in failure of its management system. As for prevention on avoidable billion-dollar error crisis, frequent performance evaluation is needed for a better management. Next is based on our online interview with one of Toyota's representatives. First is to define how far the company has applied Kaizen costing. This can be seen through previous problems that have been solved. For example, by using Kaizen costing, Toyota production system able to smoothen their manufacturing operation by removing any wasteful activities that does not give value to the customer perspective. Besides, Kaizen costing help the company to save money through inventory cost reduction, which indirectly reduce the cost. In Toyota's case, not only work teams but also product or process design engineers contribute to Kaizen, and shop floor engineers play a vital role in coordinating between shop floors and engineering departments on the basis of the staff inline structure of organizations. Then, to analyze the key factors that lead the company to use a contemporary tool such as Kaizen costing. There are many factors that led to the effectiveness of Kaizen implementation, which first the devotion and productivity of the employees engaged, as well as the dedication of upper management. A good Kaizen organizational culture, along with leadership qualities that set high policies and goals, find it easier for the workers to perform Kaizen system more efficiently. Another factors were easy deployment and resource allocation, particularly when it entailed a cross-functional effort. Then, existence of a qualified Kaizen champion or facilitator aids members of the team in overcoming obstacles toward Kaizen. Moreover, training and education are important aspects in Kaizen effectiveness since they improve team members' ability to perform and communicate amongst each other more properly. The company are moving to use Kaizen costing since it is able to increase the performance through efficiency and effectiveness. Next, to examine the potential method to resolve the current issues. First, for bureaucracy problem, Toyota tackled this issue by making sure to choose the right person that suit the job scope, and they also put extra attention regarding experience of that person in automotive field. To avoid the duplication of duties or any misunderstanding in a team, Toyota believed that emphasis should be placed on job specifications, which include obligations, detailed rights, and the scope of authority and responsibilities. Second, Toyota is having overconfidence issue and has been considering to interact with some other market players and take into consideration of sharing information. To prevent overestimation of the business output and operational activities, Toyota implement Kaizen activities such as standard and more dependable method of evaluation. As a result, Toyota more likely to spot possible issues by conducting total quality control and total productive maintenance on its own product or in the marketplace. Other than that, Toyota has weak management strategies. To solve weak management style, the company should replace unqualified individual with qualified ones who has experience in management of world-class company and try to avoid family ties for better management. The company also continues adopting Kaizen practice as it involves teamwork, self-discipline, improved moral, quality circles, and improvement suggestion. Overall, from interviewee point of view, she believed that all those methods will lead to success of Toyota. Lastly, to recognize the employees' thought about the Kaizen costing system that is being implemented, a culture which encourages change and progress as well as good discipline and determination between all employees can result in excellent working as a team. Operators and management staff will be more eager to search for areas where they can focus on improving and make contribution solutions to the issues. A good communication system between the employees has also enabled the sharing of information regarding areas which need to be improved and the knowledge among problem-solving professionals. Employees are more likely to participate in Kaizen if there is a relation between Kaizen activities and employee or departmental key performance indicators. From the interviewee perspective, employees are satisfied with the current methods applied and are happy with its organization environment and culture. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Nurul Ashikin binti Azmi. My matric number 264679. Now I will continue the presentation with the limitation. There are some limitations occur where it affects our project findings. Firstly, the limitation that we face is the difficulty to get appointment from the company for interview session. It is because the supervisor was busy handling the management works and she also not around at the company few days when we contact the supervisor. It is difficult to find a suitable time to make appointment to interview with the supervisor, but at last we have made it successfully. In addition, we are not able to get clear explanation about the activity that carried out in detail because of the time constraint. We did not ask the supervisor things in detail as the time is running out. Moreover, we did not get any attachment or evidence regarding the management of Toyota's activity. Manager just told us about it and she did not hand over any documents as evidence. We just did the findings based on what we had collected during the interview. Furthermore, the supervisor just shares little of information about Kaizen costing to us. The supervisor did not share the information due to the private and confidential factors. She just explained overall and sometimes did not answer our questions as the supervisor may lack of the respective knowledge. Other than that, we also did not get clear explanation from the supervisor for some questions that we asked during the interview. We can understand clearly as we did not get clear explanation from the supervisor. This may cause difficulty for us to proceed with some parts of the findings. Lastly, the limitation is we did not get enough time to explore more about Toyota. We just do our findings based on what we get during the interview with the supervisor. Therefore, the limitations of our group project findings are hard to find stable time to interview with supervisor. Time constraint, did not get clear information about the Toyota and did not have document or attachment as evidence because of confidential factors. Due to these limitations, we are not having enough information and data, but we just managed to complete our findings with the details given by the supervisor. That's all from me. I will pass the presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
My name is Nurhanis binti Muhammad Rosli and my matric number is 264362. I will present part recommendation and conclusions. For the recommendation part, there are some recommendations on how Kaizen costing can be better used and adopted by manufacturing companies. One of them is that organizations should emphasize the understanding and knowledge of the Kaizen concept in all levels of organization. Based on our findings, we found that the company did not fully adopt Kaizen because they did not have a Kaizen mindset. It is important for employees to know and clearly understand the concept of Kaizen that will be implemented to ensure that the system will run effectively in the company. Therefore, the organization have to act and make sure that every level of employee is more aware with the concept of Kaizen and to adopt a Kaizen mindset. For example, the organization can conduct a talk about the Kaizen costing. By doing the talk, employees will have better understanding and it will encourage them to have a Kaizen mindset. Besides that, company can provide Kaizen training to increase productivity and performance of employees. This training involves everyone in every level of the organizations, including the management team and employees. A training will help the management as well as the employee to be able more practically on the system and process. However, every level may need different content and practice on the Kaizen. For example, the president which represents the management team must recognize their particular role in the development of a Kaizen culture. The president should be able to express their concerns and come up with solutions to any potential barriers in the company. A training of Kaizen is needed as it involves the setting performance standards of the company system and process. Therefore, organization has to organize a training program to provide training to the employees to practice how the system should be implemented and recognized. This is to ensure every level of organization has better understanding and can be able to manage the Kaizen costing well. However, based on the limitations, the interview should be done with the upper level management so that the result will be more accurate since they will know more better about the performance by using Kaizen costing in the production. Besides, they will understand more how the Kaizen is works in the company since they might know better the concept of Kaizen. Therefore, for the next research to interview, it is better if it can be conducted by involving the higher management team workers such as manager, so the outcome for the interview's finding will be more accurate and reliable. Next, time management needs to be further improved by preparing a specific schedule for the interview regarding this project, as each member and the interviewer have the different schedule in order to be able to get involved during the interview session. In addition, the group leader must constantly monitor the tasks that have been assigned to each member so that the work can be carried out and completed what the task needs so that we can get the more information from the interviewer. For the further study of this research, the different resources such as an online questionnaire can be constructed. Input from the previous interview can be used to create questions that can be passed to all the manufacturing workers across Malaysia. This helps to gain more quantitative information and avoid any limitation of time since it is hard to interview all the management team workers in a short time since this is a close-to-close interview. Questionnaires help to overcome the problem with the virtual interview such as the internet and connection problem. It is also easier to distribute and get the information during the pandemic where most of the company might be work from home and it might be difficult to us to contact the person that we want to do the interview. For the conclusion part, we can conclude that the Kaizen costing is more focused on performance improvement with all employees involved in change process. Kaizen costing is a management accounting technique that is used to reduce the cost of business activity. Furthermore, it applies to processes such as logistics and supply chain to reduce waste by standardizing activities and evaluating current practice. We have applied 3 methods in order to investigate and collect data about Kaizen costing from our chosen company, which is Toyota Motor Corporation. The methodology that our group used are case study method, observational, and interview method. These 3 methods already successfully adapted by us and we obtain more information about this costing, but not in a deep detail due to some limitations such as difficulty to get employment from the company for interview session due COVID-19 pandemic and government restriction about movement control order or MCO in this country, lack of given information due to confidential issue, and time constraint for interview session. From our observation, we know that Toyota Motor Corporation applied just-in-time and Kanban methodologies for its production system, and their normal issues is when the consumer does not believe or is less confident due to some matters in the management system on Toyota products, which leads to a reduction in sales. So, this company tries to use various methods to handle this situation to gain the trustworthiness from consumers again, and one of the efforts is they apply the Kaizen costing in their process to reduce the cost of the product. When the cost becomes lower, the price also becomes lower rather than before with the same quality. Hence, it can attract customers to buy products from Toyota soon and increase their sales. In the interview session, a few questions would be asked to one of the staff from Toyota Motor Corporation to gain an idea on how this method is applied by them. As a result, we recommend a few suggestions to make the Kaizen costing, and this assignment will be conducted in a better manner, such as organizations should emphasize the understanding and knowledge of the Kaizen concept in all levels of organizations, provide Kaizen training to increase productivity and performance of employees. The interview should be done with the upper level management, and all the members group must manage the time wisely. That's all from me. Thank you.